Hey everybody! Every year I put out a video on the scariest movies I've ever seen, but I wanted to recommend ones that may not have scared me personally, but are still awesome horror experiences. So today, here's another batch of 6 horror films that are actually good. Make sure to subscribe, check out the playlist for the other videos in this series, and comment with some of your favorite horror flicks. Let's do it! Alright, so this one's exciting. Starting off is a film from this year, a prequel to The Omen called The First Omen. Man, I was expecting this to be terrible. Most horror sequels and prequels are mediocre at best and Exorcist believer at worst, so when I popped this on, I had about as much faith in it as an aircraft from Boeing. Imagine my surprise when I discovered not just a solid horror movie, but one that was this crazy. It's a trip. It's a total trip. Not since Mandy have I seen a horror film this bizarre and beautiful. The orange gold lighting works beautifully to capture the Italian setting. The framing is really well done to create the right emotion for each scene. There are certain shots that are like stamped on my brain. There's a scene that opens on someone's eyeball wildly glancing around. It's such a stark, disturbing shot, and it lasts for so long. From top to bottom, this is a vivid, gorgeous movie. If there's any problem with it, it's that the story at times feels like a battle between the director's vision and the producers trying to tie this back to the Omen franchise. I would have preferred this as a wholly original property. Saying that, I really have to harp on the fact that this is a very good film, maybe even a great one. It often showed me something I'd never seen, or something familiar in a totally unfamiliar way. From start to finish, it plays out like a nightmare, but the surreal kind, like when you take Ambien. The acting is great, especially from our lead, and it was easy to care about her character. The story escalates at a good pace and offers lots of surprises, and then turns into something dark and distressing that I did not expect. Like I said, its references to the Omen feel more like shackles, and it's a shame that others, like myself, may have glanced at the title and went, ugh, really? Another one? This time, we got something good. Something freakish, made with passion.
Sorella, la porta.
The first Exorcist is talked to death. The second one, people try to Eternal Sunshine that thing. But not enough people talk about Exorcist 3. About 15 minutes into this movie, I came to a wonderful realization. Wow, this is actually written really well. Like, it was crafted by adult screenwriters who knew what they were doing. The two male leads speak like men of experience and education. They chat like friends, with the right amount of good cheer without unnecessary, reality-breaking exposition. And look, it's not that modern movies don't have great dialogue. I mean, look at Tar, look at The Banshees of Inisherin, basically anything by Jim Cummings. But seeing it handled this well in a franchise sequel made me realize how much I craved it. This is equal parts religious horror and detective thriller, and it's probably the best merging I've seen of these two. George C. Scott is, big surprise, great. You feel the weight of the investigation on his shoulders, and the growing dismay as he's realizing how horrible this enemy is, and worst of all, that it's winning. However, the big standouts are Brad Dourif and Jason Miller playing what are essentially versions of the same character. It's a nice contrast. One is more gleeful and loud and big, and the other more quietly menacing. These scenes bring the most intensity and sweat. And it's worth noting that it's just a couple of dudes in a room, 5 feet apart because they're not gay. Also, the movie has a good jump scare, one of the best, that makes the Darth Maul, hello, from Insidious look a bit stupid by comparison. Exorcist 3 is meaningful, intelligent, and at points, demented. Just the way I like it.
Off
comes the head without spilling one single drop of blood. Now, I call that showmanship, Lieutenant. Then, of course, no one notices pearls before sun. Oh, few boos from the gallery, I see.
Next is Don't Breathe. Basic setup is that the world's dumbest thieves break into a blind man's house to steal valuables, only to find out that he is actually a bit badass and very much psychotic. What follows is a hyper-intense cat and mouse game where the thieves must find escape routes while also staying as quiet as possible. I did a video a while back on which horror movies align with the five senses. Don't Breathe made the hearing category because it's as if both the writer and director took a solid home invasion plot and turned it into a showcase for sound. Big moments, small moments use sound and the lack of it to keep increasing that tension. A single snip of scissors makes you suck in all the breath you had. A scene where Mr. 13 Reasons Why clamps his mouth shut next to the villain is enough to make you sweat. It reminds you of just how impossible it is to be truly silent. Pacing-wise, I can't imagine this being much better. Shit, I don't think I'll ever look at a turkey baster the same way again. The black and white scene is a highlight. The setting is instant claustrophobia. It's visually interesting, and the fact everyone's eyes are dilated makes everything so much more eerie. Stephen Lang does an awesome job, from voice to physicality. It's funny how intimidating he is in a movie where he blindly wanders around a suburban house, and yet with a mech suit and an army behind him, he's a total joke in Avatar.
Every living thing that crawls, flies, or squats in the mud wants to kill you and eat your eyes for jujubes.
Like the first Omen, Don't Breathe was a lot better than I thought it would be. It's nerve-wracking and polished and a bit depraved, yet falls in line as a crowd pleaser. So if you haven't seen it, definitely go watch it. And I haven't seen the sequels, so if someone has, please comment below and let me know if they're any good.
Cindy took my child away from me. I thought it's only fair that she give me a new one.
Next is Event Horizon. Easily the best outing from Paul W.S. Anderson. Granted, the fully CGI shots have not aged well, but the practical stuff, the gore, the ship interiors, the tubes, the panels, the structures, not only look interesting, but strike a nice balance between realistic and ominous. You know something's gonna go wrong at these locations, just by looking at them, but you have no clue how bad it's gonna get, and it gets bad. There's a sequence that can best be described as a blood orgy that is remarkably untethered and insane. You could dismiss it as simple shock value. Yep, there's an argument for that. But I think it's great at showing just how hellish this hell could be. And I am so down with making hell look as horrifying as possible. All the kills in this movie are creative and at points hard to watch. Horror in space is a good concept. You can leave the haunted house, you can outrun Michael Myers unless you've just polished a fifth of absinthe. In space, you're stuck. And it's a shame that most horror movies in space don't take full advantage of that. Event Horizon does. It is wild and exhilarating and violent and nuts. Honestly, I don't think I can describe it any better than this out of context and hilarious line from The Birdcage.
I've never felt such tension. It's like riding a psychotic horse towards a burning stable.
It's like riding a psychotic horse towards a burning stable. That's Event Horizon.
Preparing to engage the gravity drive and open the gateway to Proxima Centauri. Ave atque vale. Hail and farewell.
What is that?
Second to last is the found footage movie As Above, So Below. Let's start with the obvious. As Above, So Below was filmed in the actual catacombs in France. The environment is itself its own character, a foreboding maze that seems to gain a personality and starts messing with people as they descend. This might sound odd, but it reminds me of a lobster trap. Once our characters take the bait, they're doomed. There are physical, spiritual, and psychological threats from scene to scene. And as hopeless as everything seems, the movie surprisingly never came across as depressing. Not to say a morbid horror story is bad, I mean, some of my favorite movies are straight up unforgiving. But the bravery and teamwork of the protagonists was a breath of fresh air. The actual action moments, the tunnel collapses, and other shifts in the environment look believable and feel chaotic. I have to mention again how the catacombs do come across like something sentient. It's fascinating and a bit demented, like watching someone cornering bugs before exterminating them. It didn't scare me, and I actually don't expect it to scare anyone else, but it is tense and inventive and a lot of fun. Great watch with a group, check it out.
Look, just go. Just keep going, please. Just go. Fuck.
You're gonna have to
No, just go, goddammit. God. Why are they singing? Why are they singing this fucking song? Just tell them to shut the fuck up. Come on, let's go.
Benji, you're gonna have to calm down, okay, Benji? Benji, just calm down, okay? Just breathe with me, please.
And last up is, in my opinion, the most underrated film by Alfred Hitchcock, and that's Frenzy. This is the most believable portrayal of a serial killer I've ever seen. I love the fact that Frenzy tricks you at first. We know there's a killer of women on the loose, and we're soon introduced to our down-on-his-luck protagonist with several chips on his shoulder. So we think, okay, that's the guy. But when his charming friend starts talking to a woman in an office, we gradually realize that we put our faith in the wrong person. I can't show the sequence, but it's somehow both tastefully done and gut-wrenching at the same time. Both the sexual assault and murder feel too real. It's legitimately horrifying to watch. I don't think I can say the word lovely ever again. It just feels dirty now. There's a whole bit where the villain has to retrieve something from a body, and it puts you, as an audience member, in such a strange position. The scene makes you nervous about him getting caught, but you're fully aware of how despicable he is. Horror is the best genre to screw with people's heads, and Frenzy does it over and over again. A simple shot of a camera moving away from a murder about to take place filled me with such anger and helplessness. It really put a hook in me. As for complaints, there's not much. There's some cheesy crowd dialogue in the intro, and the subplot about a wife's bad cooking is about as funny and insightful as Jimmy Kimmel doing fucking anything. Regardless, Frenzy is great. It's directed and acted with skill and style, and put me in a very uncomfortable headspace. Nice job, Frenzy. Just don't get too close. You're kinda gross.
I don't know if you know, Babs, but you're my type of woman.
What are some other great horror movies? Do Silence of the Lambs or Jaws count as horror? Honestly asking. Comment below and check out the other videos in this series, as well as a video I did about the scariest video games. Subscribe, check out my social links in the description, and thanks for watching.